Welcome back to TCM. I'm Dave Karger. We're in the middle of the first night of a two-part spotlight on comedy legend Steve Martin. Up next, Martin gives a powerful performance that toes the line between comedy and drama in the 1989 film Parenthood, directed by Ron Howard. Steve Martin stars as Gil Buckman, a hard-working father of three who begins to worry that he's somehow failed his children. His siblings are equally conflicted about their own success as parents, and the movie follows the entire extended Buckman family as they experience the highs and lows of parenthood. In addition to Steve Martin, the ensemble cast features a long roster of stars, some just at the beginning of their careers. That list includes Mary Steenburgen, Diane Wiest, Jason Robards, Rick Moranis, Tom Hulce, Keanu Reeves, Martha Plimpton, and Joaquin Phoenix, who was then just 15 years old and is credited as Leaf Phoenix, a stage name that he had chosen for himself at the time. Ron Howard was inspired to make this movie after reflecting on his own experiences as a parent. He teamed up with producer Brian Grazer and screenwriters Lowell Gans and Babalu Mandel, who had worked with Howard earlier in the decade on Night Shift and Splash. In developing the screenplay, they had plenty of material to work with, since between the four of them, they had 14 children. Steve Martin, on the other hand, wasn't a father when he made this film, and he had reservations about playing one on screen. But according to his co-star, Mary Steenburgen, when they arrived on set to begin filming, quote, "He didn't have time to think. The kids rushed up. He fell in love with them, and they loved him." The film became a huge critical and commercial hit, and it earned 2 Oscar nominations for Diane Wiest as Best Supporting Actress and for the original song I Love to See You Smile, written by Randy Newman. It also went on to spawn 2 TV series. There was a short-lived series in 1990 that starred Ed Begley Jr. in the Steve Martin role, and a young Leonardo DiCaprio as one of the kids. And there was also a longer-running series that premiered on NBC in 2010 featuring Peter Krause and Lauren Graham. From 1989, here is the original Parenthood. Steve Martin broke through as a movie star a decade before he made Parenthood, when he co-wrote and starred in the 1979 comedy The Jerk. Over the next 10 years, he scored a string of hits starring in comedies like All of Me, Little Shop of Horrors, and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. With Parenthood, Martin took his career in a different direction. As he put it in a 1993 interview, "I wanted to show that I could play a real person. Up until then, I think the comedy was carrying the acting, not the other way around." He elaborated in a more recent interview with the American Film Institute, saying, "If you've got a fine dramatic moment to land on, it makes the comedy even more powerful." Up next, Steve Martin steps into a role originated by Spencer Tracy back in 1950. This is the 1991 remake of that comedy, co-starring Diane Keaton. Stay with us.
Next on TCM, Father of the Bride. Then the bride wore black. And later, the bride wore red. TCM walks you down the aisle tonight.